Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My series of questions are to the Minister for Mining, and it's in relation to the issue or subject of seabed mining. Papua New Guinea was the first guinea pig nation for this particular activity, and we lost about 300 million kina, I believe, to an ambitious plan to mine our seabed, an activity that caused a lot of concern for our coastal communities, such as the people of Oro. Now we hear that this company is making a return or attempting to make a return. So we're curious to know if they're going to come and seek another 300 million or so. So can the minister explain or confirm whether there is truth to these rumors suggesting that this company, Nautilus Seabed Mining, is planning to return to PNG to engage in deep-sea mining activities again? Through you, Deputy Speaker. Can the minister, given the past experiences with Nautilus Seabed Mining, advise as to whether the government has taken steps to reinforce the country's mining laws and policies to protect the interest of our citizens and the sovereignty of our waters? And what measures have been introduced to ensure that the fiscal obligations of mining companies, especially those engaged in potentially high-impact activities like deep-sea mining, are strictly enforced? And in the case of Nautilus Seabed Mining, can the minister detail any steps that have been taken to recoup the $300 million? My apologies, Deputy Speaker. It was actually $300 million, not kina. That was paid by the PNG taxpayers. What progress has been made? And if not, what are the obstacles? Are there any provisions or safeguards in place to prevent the recurrence of such an event where a foreign company receives significant funding but fails to deliver on their promises? This is one of many examples. Can the minister explain how the government intends to protect our marine environment from the potential adverse impacts of seabed mining? Can the minister clarify how the government plans to handle the opposition from NGOs and other groups against deep-sea mining in our waters in the case that Nautilus Seabed Mining or similar companies intend to start operations? And lastly, can the good minister assure this House and the people of PNG that all agreements with foreign companies, specifically those in the mining sector, are transparent, beneficial for the people, and conducted in a way that adheres to our laws, respects our environment, and values the welfare of our communities? Thank you.
The Honourable Minister for Mining.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the Governor for Oro for this very important national question, but also a very complex one. I also want to thank the Governor for Oro for giving me a notice of his questions before he asked the question. Mr. Speaker, it is now clear from my discussions with this company that the company is planning to return to PNG. This company currently holds 3 exploration licenses, or ELs, that are all undergoing term extensions. A mining lease, ML154, a new mining lease, ML512, known as Saltwater 2, under application. Nautilus was placed under Canadian court's supervised liquidation in 2019. that resulted in Deep Sea Mining Finance Limited, DSM, a private company, acquiring 100% shares in Nautilus. Nautilus is now a subsidiary of this company, Deep Sea Mining Finance Limited. DSM plans to return to Saltwater Project through its three-phase programs of one, trailing the deep sea mining concept, which is initially planned to commence later this year. 2, concept testing would be followed by trial mining, which DSM plan to commence also later this year. Trial mining would be followed by commercial production, with which DSM plans to commence next year right through to ML 20-year lease agreement. Mr. Speaker, question 2 and question 3 are similar, so I will answer them together. Department of Minerals Policy and Geo-Asset Management has addressed some of these concerns in the revised Mining Act. As a matter of conscience and best industrial practice, the Mineral Resource Authority has always imposed conditions in license grants whenever laws and government policies are silent or insufficient or on activities that pose risks to environment and communities. Further, the MRA has introduced Financial Assurance Trust Fund.
You have a written reply to the honourable member on the question. I would not allow you to read them all, take up the whole session on the question time, but I can ask you to seek leave after the question time, and you can present it as a question reply on the statement written. I believe that we'll get much time of our question time.
I have already given the Honourable Governor a copy of these questions, but I will now ask that these answers to the questions be tabled. I ask leave.
Your request. Honourable members, leave granted? Granted. The honourable member for Abao.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. May I ask leave of the chair to ask you a question?
Honourable, we have a point of order. Honourable Governor.
Apologies for interrupting the efforts of our good member for Abao. I just wanted to ask if the good minister can respond at a later date or sometime this week, so that the public can understand the questions that I asked and the answers that are given, rather than just tabling the report, so that he can seek leave sometime later and actually read out those responses, so that those questions can be thoroughly answered for the satisfaction of the people. Thank you.